Let's check out the problem of the day. Recipe calls for 4 cups of flour while baking 8 dozen cookies. I'm not sure what kind of cookies they are. It's about dinner time for many of us, and it's making me hungry, all right? But anyway, how many cups of flour are there needed to bake 5 dozen cookies? So we already know this recipe calls for 4 cups of flour when baking 8 dozen cookies. Question is, how many cups of flour are needed to bake 5 dozen cookies? And some of you go like, would you just use the same amount and have more? Oh goodness, that would be gooey, wouldn't it? No, we got to keep it in, what's the word? Proportion, all right? So let's take a look at this problem one more time and mark a few things. Those of you who are thinking about it on home, go ahead and work it with me, all right? It says 4 cups of flour, baking 8 dozen. That's a relationship right there, all right? We got 4 cups to make 8 dozen cookies. All right, I don't know how large those cookies are. Some of you are going like, oh, are they chocolate chip? What? No, I have no idea all that, but we're just going to say that's what they do. Our group, however, doesn't need 8 dozen, which, by the way, 8 dozen is like 96 cookies, all right? That's a lot of cookies. So we're going to go for a little bit smaller, like 60 cookies and 5 dozen. That's what that's working with. But the question is, how many cups? So we do have a relationship. And remember I said we want to keep it in proportion because otherwise the cookie stuff ain't really going to taste so good, all right? And it may have the horrible texture if we have too much flour or too much sugar or anything out of that overwhelming us. So we want to make it precise, So we've got 4 cups, and that's going to be for 8 dozen. Now I want to tell you something. If you look at that, 4 over 8, yes, and some of you say, well, Ernie, could we reduce that down to 1 over 2? We certainly can. I'm going to leave it as it is because we can keep it like it is. But if you saw 4 over 8 and decided, oh, that's 1 over 2. Now I know some of you go like, oh, I see 4 over 8 and you get 1 over 4. Don't do that. Do not do that, all right? We want to keep in proportion, and 1/4 is not equal to 1/2, no matter how hard you try to convince me, all right? Unless you're talking about nothing, then you can say it is equal, but not in this case. We're talking cookies. They're definitely worth something. So on the other side, what do we got? We know we're going to have 5 dozen. Now some of you could, well, could you have made that 96? Sure, we could have made 96, but no need to. We're talking about dozens here. And we got 5, and I'm going to put a little X over there because remember, that's going to come out in cups. We don't know how much it is, but it's going to make a fraction of 1/2. And some of you say, well, how's that going to happen? Because you're thinking integers. Right, we're always so used to seeing our answers coming out exactly perfect. This one's not going to come out exactly perfect. It's going to come out nice, don't get me wrong. It's going to come out even. But what we've got to do is run a decimal place or keep a mixed number going in the mix here. So let's see how we're going to do this. I am going to cross multiply, best way I know how to do. So we're going to cross multiply right there. And on this other side here we go. We got to cross multiply also. So we're going to get 8 times our x, which is 8x. That was easy. On the other side, we have 4 times 5, which will get us, oh wow, what is 4 times 5? We'll find out when that bottom third drops out there here. There we go. 8x equals to 20. Divide your 8 into 20. And I said it wouldn't necessarily go evenly. Well, it does go evenly, but you're going to have to run a decimal space in there. So we're going to divide both sides by 8, and that's going to leave us with x equaling, what, 8 going to 20 2 times, and 4 left over. So we have 2 and how about 4 over 8, which is equal to 2 and 1/2. Those of you who love those decimals, how about it? 2 and 5/10, or 2.5, yes. So what are these representing? They're representing cups of flour. So it should make sense because what was going on here, we were taking 4 cups for 8 dozen cookies. This is definitely a smaller amount, 60 cookies. This number should be smaller. Proportionally speaking, it will come down to that. Now I mentioned real quickly, and I'm just going to go back to it. What if we'd made 1/2 equaling to our x over 5? Would we still get the same thing? Well, my friends, if we kept the right proportion, if we reduced that fraction correctly, we'd keep the correct proportion, and let's cross multiply. You get 2x equaling 5, and you know what? The answer is still x equals 2 and 1/2, or 2 and 5/10. So when you're working a problem like this, the important thing is to make sure if you're going to reduce, and it's fine. With a calculator, you can also do away. These were small numbers. You can divide 8 into 20 mentally, get the final answer too. So these are all in, by the way, these are cups. Same thing here, cups. Either way, you'll get to the right answer. But make sure when you try to reduce a fraction, make sure you reduce it correctly.